Hello everyone. How was our Friday and Saturday? I hope we are all doing well. So, remember yesterday we were meant to finish our code for making our sprite jump, right? Okay, so now there are two ways you can do this. I'll get into this other code later, and I hope we're able to finish the code yesterday. If we're not able to, we're going to do that today. So, the first way we can make this sprite jump is by giving the following command, which I'm going to explain to you. So let's separate these blocks of code up first, so that when I'm explaining it to you, you won't have an issue. We should already have this on our system, so that's not a problem. So to make this sprite jump, the first method is this way. We're dragging our when statement from our events. So when the up arrow key is clicked, we want to change y by something, and then we want to add our wait block. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we want to change y, and this y should make the sprite go up, right? So when it goes up, we want it to wait for some time while it's up before it comes down, right? So now what this does, it just takes it up and makes it wait for some time and remains there, okay? So we want it to come down. So what are we going to do? We're going to change y again by something, but this time since we want it to come down, we're going to use a negative value. So let's start with 10 and minus 10, and let's start with 1 second and see how this works. So let's run our program. So as we can see, the sprite is on this position. So when we click it, do you see it goes up and down? Okay, it goes up and down, right? So as you can see, it does not jump up much. So let's increase this to like 70 and minus 70, and then let's use 1 second and see how far it goes. So as you can see, it goes up more. Okay, so we want it to stay up for longer. Let's make this 5 seconds. I just hope that's not going to be too much. So when it goes up, so we jump up 5 seconds before it comes down. We jump up again 5 seconds, then it comes down. Okay, do you guys get? I hope you guys get it. So that's how you can create your jump, the first method. Okay, you can also use this if you don't want to use the other one, but what I want to show you, the other one makes it more realistic. That's why I said we should do that, and it also helps us understand variables and our variables more, because we treated variables last, right? So now we have these three blocks of code, we already have them in, so I'll just explain what they do, and then we're going to continue from there. So now this is the same thing with what we had here. Okay, I shouldn't have deleted that. So remember, we had our space. Let me drag them back in. Change y by 10. Wait, let's drag in our two change blocks. Sorry. Then wait. So what did we have? 5 and 70 and minus 70. So this is how our code look like. So now what do we want to do? We want, when this guy goes up, he should come down more realistic, more realistically, sorry. Okay, his coming down should be more realistic. As you can see, let's run this again so that I will explain what I want you guys to understand here. So you see, when he goes up, sorry, so you see, when he goes up, I want us to take a note of something here. When he goes up, you can see his descent is not going to be normal. Okay, so when this guy is clicked, we want him to jump up, right, just like we did before. So we run our program. Don't forget, you can also define the position you want him to start from when he jumps. So we want him to go up, right? After 5 seconds he comes down. Okay, we want him to go up again. After 5 seconds he comes down. So you can see the way he comes down, it seems like it's more or less static. You understand? So once his fall downwards to be more realistic, so when he jumps up it will feel like he's coming down to the ground. Okay, so how do we do that? So let's keep this our block of code. Okay, we can leave it none. So we can separate it for now. So now let's delete this block, this code. Let me dissect it as I've explained it to you. Sorry. So we just for dragging our if statement. So now if our arrow key is pressed, right, and don't forget, whenever you have an if statement there must be a forever block. That is compulsory, so just put it in your forever block. Let's just get that out of the way already. So you understand, if our key up arrow key is pressed, right, from our sensing, right, if a particular key is pressed, then it should do something. So now what we want to do, we'll go to our variables, set our variable as y speed. Okay, that's the speed on the y-axis. You can name your variable anything, but our share is y speed. Okay, as you can see. So we set our variable to variable name as y speed. You can also show the variable up here if you want, or I don't think that's necessary, so we're going to hide that. Then what next? We drag in our repeat block. Okay, then what do we do next? We change y by y speed. How do we do this? Y speed variable separate. Okay, so we change y by y speed. So what does this mean? We're changing y by total number of speed declared in our variable, which is 70. Okay, as you can see, this here is also 70, here is also 70, here is 70, so the both of them are 70. Are we good with that? So now we're changing our y speed by 70, so no need to write our variable any integer or number here, because I've already selected a variable to handle that. Remember I discussed what variables are used for, so they are shortcuts. So now instead of coming here to write 70 again, we just wrote our y speed. So now after we change y by our y speed, we now want to change y speed by -2. Okay, so now let me describe these two blocks separately for you. This guy basically handles going up. Okay, it's very easy. If the first key is pressed, set our variable to 70. So what this means is when I press our space key, it should move up by 70, which is the same thing with this right guy here. So we just wrote this first guy here in another way using our if statement. So this guy and this guy do the same thing. Okay, so we drag him into our forever block. What this guy does is he is the one responsible for when this guy goes back down. Okay, so now what do we say we should do? We should repeat this step 70 times. So what is he doing? He's changing y speed by y by y speed, and he's changing y speed by -2. So what does this mean? This whole block of code here means whenever it goes down, it should continually change our y speed up here by -2. Okay, so if it goes up to 70, it will continue changing by -2 till it goes back to 70 again, which is going to be negative on the negative x-axis, okay, negative y-axis. So we want to change our y speed by -2 till it gets back to its original position. So that's what this whole block of code here does. Okay, so we now drag this into our if statement. Okay, so now the problem we're having is that when this runs, the guy will end up being at the bottom of the screen here. He's not going to be at this position. So what do we do to fix that? We use our go to statement. So we want to declare a position where y is going to go to and x is going to go to. But how do we declare this position? So now what is our repeat step here? 70, right? So now let's define a position here. So let's make it minus 172 and minus 128. Okay, this is good. So now what we do is, to be able to get the position, we're going to use x to go to, sorry, we'll use our calculators. So let me open up my calculator on the screen. So use our calculator to do this. So now we have 70 and what? Our y-axis is minus 126. So now we're going to have it as minus 126 plus 70. This is going to give us what? Minus 56. Okay, it is 126 and 128. Okay, 128. Sorry. Minus 128 plus 70, which is what? Why am I having 184? Minus, let's clear this, sorry. Minus 128 plus 70. Okay, so we have minus 58, right? So now what this means is, when this guy jumps up from this position, he's going to cover a distance of what? Where's our calculator? Did I close it? Oh, I closed that calculator. So it's going to cover a distance of minus 57. So it's going to go a distance of minus 57. After it covers our 70 step, change the 70 up, it's going to have a position of what? Minus 70 up here. Okay, and then we want it to return back to this position. So that's what this block does basically. So we'll add him here to our code. So now when we run it, we're going to have our jump more realistic. So when it jumps up, do you see how it comes down? Did you get that? Do you see how it comes down? You can see his return down now is a little bit more realistic than the first one. Okay, so when we jump up again, you can see his jump is more realistic than the first one. Okay, are we good? So let's jump over this last one. Okay, good. So that's what basically this does. So how we get our go to x is, we subtract this y value minus total number of steps we wanted to repeat, or this here, but make sure these two figures are the same. Very important, because we are subtracting something from another, and if we make them different, you're going to have a glitch in the program, just like we had changing y here 70 and changing y minus 70. Okay, so I described these are two blocks of code are exactly this, but just we added our go to x and y. So we add 70 to this, so we're going to have minus 125 or 126, which we used, I think, minus, oh sorry, plus 70. We get our y value where we jump to. Okay, so we can have a smooth return back. Good. So I hope we understood this. If you have any problem, I will try and resolve that next week. So now for your assignment, which I wanted to give you, let me save the project. Let's go back to our folder. So now we're going to work with backdrops. What do I want us to do? I'm going to show us in the next slide. So under our files, okay, let this load. When it loads, we'll continue. Hello everyone, we're back again. So this is our assignment I want us to work on. If you have any problem, we can work on that next week. So we have this. When I click my spacebar key, I want us to go to this backdrop. Okay, these are all backdrops. So we can design this using Google Drawings. that's another useful tool. You can go online and use them. So you use this is how the interface looks like, in case you're interested in doing that. That was how I designed this particular image here you're seeing. I got it from the internet and I used Google Drawings to edit it. So this is how the Google Drawing interface looks like. It's easy to use. You can play around with this. Okay, so let's just close this and go back. So this is like a startup page for our game. I created this for the race game, the startup page for the race game, but I haven't added it to the racing file yet. So now when we click on start, it changes color to green, takes us to our game page. Okay, and then when we click on end, it takes us back to this page. When we press our space bar key, okay, when we press our space bar key, our game loads to this page. And also when we press end here, it takes us back to this particular page. Okay, are we good? Okay, so basically that's what I want us to recreate as our assignment. It's not difficult, just work with backdrops. So we're going to have three backdrops here, three different backdrops. Backdrop one, so I'll give us an inside. Backdrop one, backdrop two, and backdrop three. Okay, and then we're going to have two different sprites. The first sprite for our start button, the second one for our end button. Okay, you guys can just play around with this. It must not look exactly like this. Okay, and then these are our backdrops: the first page, second page, and third page. So all you're doing is linking these guys up together. Okay, and then there's another important thing I wanted to show you. Let's go to our code. So now we're coding into our backdrop. We're not coding into the sprite. So part of our code is going to be in our backdrop. Okay, so now for this I wanted to show you something, the hide and show statement. So you use your hide and show just like you see when this guy is clicked. If I press my space bar key, this guy, when we click him, he does not show in this background again. Okay, so we use hide and show statement to hide this guy. Okay, when we click him, they don't show in this background again. Are we good? So basically that's what I want us to do. So we're using our hide and show block here, okay, to do this. So that should be all. Thank you all for joining in. Have a wonderful weekend.